cameras are rare, but they seem to be rearing their head tonight. Cool. So Kara in her hands has sort of got out her device while she sort of marched away and her back's to Fess, and she'll say, "Hey, Fess," to try and get him to half turn around at all.
Okay. Can you make a deception roll for me, please? With, I'm tempted to say carouse or social. No, you can't really mix carouse.
Photography.
I suppose for chattiness, social on its own or carouse with social would make sense.
Okay, let's go.
You're
carouse.
just sort of trying to attract his attention, aren't you?
Yeah, carouse
in a boisterous
social.
manner.
Yeah, in a boisterous. Oi, good. Yeah, okay. I'll go carouse and social. Well, she's definitely managed it because I've hit my first double 6 of the night.
Fantastic.
Hey,
I like the way you say first. As
First,
if you're expecting
I'm
more.
confident. I'm confident. The first of many.
Fess does indeed turn round.
As soon as he turns round, she'll click his photo on the device. You know, full on as much as possible, and sort of give a wink and a thanks, and then just turn and head out the door with the other two.
All right. Okay. There is a slight scowl on Fess's face that you catch a glimpse of as you leave. But I wouldn't go so far as to say it's like volcanic rage.
Yeah.
Agnar will sort of wait for him to turn back to the reception desk, just to, make sure that he's not going after anyone, and then he'll leave after Kara.
Okay. Fair enough. Yes, he seems to turn back to the reception desk and get on with whatever the hell he was doing when you first spotted him. Okay, so you step outside onto the outside of the fairly mediocre corners of Mina, isn't it, where you find yourselves? I imagine that.
Yeah, you painted Mina in a very unflattering light, it must be said. At least the part we were in.
Because we were there.
Yeah, it was all beautiful till we got there.
Yes, it was lovely until then. But yes, you find yourself there, and you are standing there in the middle of the industrial district, all together. What would you like to do?
Can Stefan suggest that we carry on walking and take it a little bit further down the road?
Sure.
And once we get a little, as we're walking, can he send a message to Sammy?
Yep.
And he'll just say something unusual's come up. I would suggest getting back to either the ship or the hotel. Don't tell me which.
Okay. All right. Okay. You almost immediately get a response from Sammy, and she says, "Okay, got it. I guess you don't want to talk about it here."
He'll communicate to the rest of the people what he's doing. And they'll say, "Is it worth dropping her a message and just telling her who's back?"
It might mean that she keeps her eye out more. I guess I'm pretty certain she doesn't want to bump into him again. So
okay. So yeah, whenever she's finished, he'll just drop the name Anton Fess.
Okay. Her voice visibly changes, and it's like, "Oh, right. Yes. Yes, we are on the move."
Wonderful. If you need anything, obviously, we're on our communication devices. Stay in touch.
Thank you.
Kara's going to ping the picture of Fess over to Rick. Is it Rick?
Okay.
No, it's Rick's with her. Did anyone else go over? Someone else? We had other people go over, didn't we? Basically, she wants.
Well, Zoe went. So did Johnny. And Rick.
Yes, that's true.
And
Kara.
Rose.
Oh yes, Kara will send the photo over to all of them and just say, keep an eye out.
Good shout.
Yeah.
Okay.
Although that does mean that Zoe, who Zoe's got previous, but she's got it now. Too late. I've pressed the button. Zoe now knows that Anton Fess. It's up to her what she does, I guess.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. You get a couple of minutes later, as if it's taken a few moments for them to decide exactly what to do. You get a message back from Zoe in text form, which says, splitting up, I'm heading north.
Who was, just as an aside, what hotel-wise for tonight, we'd booked 3 rooms, hadn't we? The three doubles again.
You've got 3 double rooms in the in the coronet,
Which would have been with Rick and Rose were the other ones, weren't they? They were the other
That's
two
right,
that were. Yeah. Cool.
Has I mean, Stefan's been around some shady people before. Has
anyone who's been around Stefan has been around shady people.
has he ever encountered somebody? I mean, I guess from what Stefan's point of view, this guy is quite insightful. You know, he questions and then he sort of reads between the lines, going off of people's reactions. Is that something that would be quite plausible for Stefan to see? Is it a similar sort of thing, I guess?
I mean, what exactly do you mean? What's Stefan trying to judge?
Whether this guy can read body language, reaction to questions. Is it weird that he knew answers to questions that he wasn't necessarily directly answering, directly asking?
Okay, I'm with you.
Or is that something that Stefan would have come across before in the underworld? Shady types.
Shady types.
I'll tell you what. Under the circumstances, can you roll me a straight intellect check?
Oof.
Let's check what Stefan's intellect is. Hang on.
That's a 7.
Oh.
7. Okay. Now I'm trying to work out what from Stefan's skill list we can add to that. So where's he actually got pluses? If any of them would make sense, we can add them.
Streetwise is probably all we're looking at. Realistically.
Or deception, knowing what deception
Yeah,
looks
it
like
isn't
in other
a plus
people.
though. It's just a flat 0. Well, actually, quite surprisingly, I think for Stefan. Military tactics, streetwise.
Okay. I'd be tempted to say streetwise, but yeah, probably streetwise. That's fair. I mean, it's whether or not the hairs are pricking up on the back of his neck kind of thing, almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay. So add his streetwise to the 7.
Oh, wonderful. That's a 9. A very generous 9.
A very generous 9.
Okay. The impression. I mean, there's no way of knowing for sure, but it felt as if the guy was a trained interrogator or someone used to asking questions of people who are trying to hide things, possibly someone who is used to seeing evasion in people and used to frightening them enough that they give away visible signs of it.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
So, the way he moved, the way he stands and holds himself, the way he asks questions, the way he'll take somebody seriously and mock somebody else, the way he will, the way he'll phrase things and respond to things, means that he kind of gives nothing away that you didn't already know, while at the same time learning a few things he didn't know. That kind of thing.
Sure. Okay, cool. Stefan will, I suppose he'll turn to the rest of he'll have a little look around and he'll turn to the rest of the group and convey that. He'll just say, this guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to gain information without necessarily having us say it.
Okay. So you're now a short distance away from the Black Sun HQ, far enough away to give yourself some comfort that you're not immediately being followed or whatever. But are you planning to loiter in the area or move on to somewhere else?
Well, I guess we've got no other reason to be here. I know that. Oh, for goodness sake!
Encouraging.
I'm back. Are you back?
Yes.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
All good.
Oh, I had a moment. All went through.
Yes, it all suddenly went frozen for a second.
Exactly. Oh, it's just teasing us now.
Yeah. Like Anton Fess.
Like Anton Fess.
It knows it's got us on edge.
I think he's put the juju up the whole stream tonight, I think.
Oh, maybe.
Just by his very presence. He's made everything a bit edgy and a bit nerve-wracking. Oh, man. The stream being on edge has made me on edge, which has just made the whole Anton Fess thing even edgier. Quite good in that regard, I guess. We've got no other reason to be here today, have we, Ewan? We've only called here for Black Sun. Eventually, when we meet up with the other guys, that's on the next ridge down, isn't it? On what's the last ridge?
Venti, I think.
Venti, yeah, Venti, yeah.
You haven't visited yet.
So we've got meeting on Venti, but we don't have anything on Venti for today, I don't think. So we don't need to head that way. No, I don't think. I think all we can. Up to you. I don't want to be around. Neither Kara or Sarai would want to be knowingly on the same peak as Anton Fess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
And we've got no plans until this evening.
No plans for this evening.
That's right. I mean, it's a relatively flexible early evening you want to do. Remember that the air drops cold because you're at altitude. So your sort of evening cruise will be in a couple of hours. It's not a long gap.
Okay.
Well, we need to get back to the hotel and change into our cruise gear and our nice shoes and such.
Captain's hat, deck shoes.
Exactly. Get
my t-shirts.
Get my shuffle.
It's a classy look.
Exactly. Should we head up to the hotel? Let's be honest. If Anton Fest probably knows everything about us, quite frankly. So should we head up to the hotel for now?
Yeah. Let's head to the hotel.
Yeah.
Okay. So you go back to the transit point. Hop on the next train heading in that direction. It's only one peak over, effectively. And you can hop off at either station. Both of them are roughly equidistant to the Coronet. So whichever you fancy.
Let's go for the further one, just because then we're walking. The paranoia, I guess, in Soraya would suggest let's go to the further one, because we're walking back, facing towards where this man is slightly, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
I follow the logic.
Yeah.
somewhat judging the atmosphere on the walk, if we're at the walk part.
Mhm.
Yeah. Agnar will say to Kara, when we get to the hotel, do you want to show the photo to the clerk, to the receptionist, and just see if he'll ring up to one of the rooms if he spots this guy?
That is a really good idea. I'll tell you what I'll do as well, and she'll reach onto the phone, and she'll have the details of Kat because they were planning on meeting, weren't they? And so she's got the details. She'll sort of send a sort of a full of emojis and sort of, fist in the air kind of signs and things like that. She's like, hey Kat, you ever seen this guy before? Hand fist emoji, smiley face, wink, or whatever emoji it is, jovial, fun. Send it over to her as they start walking towards. Because I think giving it to hotel is a very good idea.
All right. Okay. So who are you sending that message to?
Kat, the girl who Kara was organising the meeting this evening. Yeah.
Okay. You get an immediate response from Kat saying,